rocking out per usual. Let me turn all this stuff off here. Boom. There we go. Get right into it. Take off my goggles here. How we doing, everybody? Hope we're all doing well. I hope we're doing very well this evening. Pardon my getting a little discombobulated here. It would seem that the stream itself is really lagging behind tonight. So I don't know. Let's see. Concurrent viewers, just one. It says 2 watching now on the phone. I don't know how many people are actually in here. Check in for me, would you please? Just go ahead and tell me what's going on, who's here, who's not here, before we get started talking about ski rides and van builds and cool stuff like that. This topic brought to my attention because I couldn't think of anything. It was there's Sherry, very nice. Hello, how are you? This topic was brought up by Alyssa. I think I put that somewhere. I think it's actually in the description of this video. And Ryan's here as well. Very good. So there's your 2 or 3 concurrent viewers. Alyssa, whom you all have seen in here many times. God, my stream is very far behind. What you're seeing right now actually happened about a minute and a half ago. Maybe. Yeah, closer to a minute ago. It's very confusing. I have to turn myself down over here. So if the stream drops out, let me know, because my... like I said, it's far enough behind tonight where if I'm listening to it is distracting. Me listening to it to make sure everything's going on correctly is very distracting. So there you go. So we're going to talk ski rides here in a minute. We'll see if a few more heads want to jump in and see what's going on. I don't know if I plugged this one enough. I hope I did. I've been putting out a couple for the last couple days. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I did plug it. Maybe I didn't. Everyone can hear me, I hope, also. Let me adjust my microphone here. Saturday. Hope everybody enjoyed their Saturday today. It was sunny and nice out here, and, it was very, very summery day. I hope it was equally as nice where you are. I hope you've been staying okay. If you've been watching the news or following social media, you find that the world is a very negative place right now. Some positivity. I mean, that rocket ship went up today. This SpaceX ship with the NASA astronauts, that went up today, so that was pretty cool. I did watch that for a few minutes. Also, last night, I don't know if any of y'all checked it out, the Dropkick Murphys did a second streaming concert. This time from Fenway Park. That was pretty awesome. I didn't watch the whole thing. Watched a good chunk of it though. Pretty good. And they even had the video, the official video for Mick Jones' Nick by Pudding, like their new song. It's friggin' awesome. I can't get enough of that song. So if you like Dropkick Murphys, if you like that punk rock with that Irish Boston, feel to it, check them out. Y'all know who they are. I don't have to explain that to you. So I hope we're all staying positive. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope they're not letting the world, bring them down, because that would really suck. But tonight we're here to talk about cars and van builds, and I think that would be great, because I think that would be fun. You know what? If there's only a couple of us here, let me go to social media real quick. I know I put it up. I see your Camaro here, Sherry. If that is your Camaro, I'm not sure whose Camaro that is. You could make that an ultimate ski mobile for like you and one other person. Absolutely. Like, it all depends on what you want to do with that car and how you want to do it, and the tires you have. I've had a large engine rear wheel drive vehicles growing up here in Vermont, and sometimes they don't handle well in the snow. Let me tell you. I did plug it. I knew I did. I knew I did. All right. Well, so some people will show up. I did say 8 o'clock, right? I didn't say like 9, did I? No, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. All right, 8 o'clock. So I did put it out there. So now we're just waiting. We're just waiting for heads. But we'll talk about Sherry's Camaro there again, if that is your Camaro, if that's not just a picture of a Camaro you found online real quick. I don't know. Looks like 80s vintage, maybe early 90s. I'm not a car connoisseur. I am not Jay Leno or the guys from Top Gear. But I know a little bit about a little bit. I hope the camera looks a little bit better this week too. I kind of changed the settings on a little to try and make it look a little better, not as washed out. Changed the contrast, brought the contrast up a little, brought the color up a little. I definitely like high contrast. You'll see that in Ski Rex Media Productions. Maybe more photo than video. You know, you don't really want to go too high contrast with the video unless it serves a purpose. But in the photos I take, I typically like to keep the contrast on the upper. But, you know, whatever. What is this? Nothing important. Okay. So it looks like it's just you and me, you, Sherry, and Ryan, and me, the three of us. So here we go. I hope someone shows up. Pretty 89. See? I was close. Late 80s, early 90s. See, like I said, not a connoisseur of cars, but I know a little bit about a little bit, and I know what I like. And here's the fact. You know, you see something from like Ski Rex Media, and you think we're going to only talk about Subarus, maybe pick 'em up trucks and SUVs and the crossovers, all this stuff with all-wheel drive. Now, all-wheel drive is a wonderful thing, and four-wheel drive is also a wonderful thing. Absolutely. It's come in handy. I never had one growing up in Vermont, living in Vermont. I never had one. I always had front-wheel or rear-wheel drive cars. That's it. In the snow, always had snow tires on them, whatever I needed. So I could get around. Like I said, I did have a big engine rear wheel drive car that I used all one winter. It was a 76 Chevelle. It had plenty of power. It had a Chevy 305 in it. And, you know, if you hit that thing too hard on a little bit of slippery ground, those wheels cooked. But I was good. I never had an issue with it, not once. In fact, I remember one time, what year was it? Well, whenever I had the car. We were driving in it, and it was in a snowstorm. We were either on our way to Mount Snow, either to work or to ski, not sure which. And we were passing cars that were off the road, like cars that had run off the road. All-wheel drive cars, mind you. Actually, no, that's not true. We were on our way to someone's house from Mount Snow. That's where we were going. And we saw a couple off the road, all-wheel drive, like crossovers or SUVs. SUV was actually a new term. This was the late 90s, so, you know. But I still say I'm the one who came up with the term sport utility vehicle. I still say I'm the first person to use those words together. I say it was me, but I don't think it's true. But my Chevelle, man, all you had to do was be careful. And that was a fun ski ride, you know, because it had plenty of trunk room. That was the thing. Let's see. Ryan drove a Mustang for 4 years, including winters. Wasn't horrible in the snow as I thought it would be. You know, and they're really not. I mean, some cars do straight up suck in snow no matter what. I had a Neon in 98. A Dodge Neon. No, mine was a Plymouth Neon. That's how rare that sucker was. Wait a minute. What's this? We having buffering issues? Is it me or is it you all? Someone tell me. Someone tell me, please. I'll never sing for real on here. There are times where I think I can actually sing, and I don't know if it's true or not because it's just me and the radio in the car. My current car. Not that Neon, not my Chevelle, not my Phoenix that I had before that, not my Malibu that I had before that, not my Pontiac 6000. That was an awesome winter car. Let me tell you. I had a Pontiac 6000. Couldn't tell you the year anymore. Got it cheap. Actually, the reason I got it so cheap is because the dealer sold it to me. Technically, they weren't allowed to sell it. It was kind of against the law for them to sell it. And they were pissed. I figured it out, too. It was kind of funny. But this car, without snow tires, a front-wheel drive, 6-cylinder engine, so it had a little get-up. Snow couldn't stop it. Ice had to stop that thing. I did have a car accident with it and totaled it. I actually was heading to Mount Snow for work one morning, and typically this car was a great winter car. Snow couldn't stop it. It leaked and burned oil. It could run for days without oil. That didn't stop it. Nothing could stop this car. I'm on my way to Mount Snow one day, hit the black ice, fishtail, up off a snowbank, jump, drop down about 10 feet into someone's driveway, hit their truck. Their plow blade was off the truck. I knocked that down a bank and into a river, and I hit a sapling that was maybe about yay wide. And the plow blade is what did the car in. It just smashed the whole side in. The passenger seat actually hit me in the face. That's how it's, you know, how far in it smashed the car. But that was a good car a good winter car other than the ice, but ice will get you no matter what. If you're in an all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive and hit the ice, you're done. You're smoked. That's it. You're not coming back from that. And I don't mean that to sound as dark as it did. I honestly just meant that ice will send you into an accident quicker than pretty much anything else. But yeah, what was I talking about? The Chevelle? The Chevelle, yeah, we saw stuff off the road. The Mustang, I'm sure, again, if you know how to drive in winter, I've come to find that people honestly don't know. All-wheel drive helps you start. It doesn't help you stop. That's kind of it. And again, it all depends on what you're on. Straight snow, you might be all right if you start to slide a little, because I've slid. God, and when I had that Neon, I was, me and my friend Bridget, who's usually in here, she might be in here too. Bridge, if you're in here tonight, put a text up so I can see it, because I have all kinds of conflicting numbers here. I got 3 on the app. I got 1 here on the website. Man, I don't know how many people are watching tonight. That's kind of awesome in a way. I could be talking to just the 2, Sherry and Ryan. At some point, I could just be talking to myself. I don't know. But we had the Neon. Now, the Neon, I will say, was not a great winter car. It was too light. It was, it was front-wheel drive and all, but there's just something. It just couldn't handle it. And I never got it stuck in snow, but there were times I couldn't get up hills. And I had to go an hour around the state just to get back to my house, which should have taken 20 minutes. It was bad. And we were on our way home from a Godsmack show, actually. And on our way downhill, and the car just slid into a snowbank. I was able to bounce it off it, and, we kept going. We were fine. No big deal. Actually, I did get that car stuck once in the snow. Come to think of it, I actually went off the road, and it didn't, it got stuck in the snow because I went off the road, and we had to push it out of someone's driveway I'm sorry, everybody. I'm getting distracted over here. But there you go. Might be you sorry. You don't have to be sorry. We don't know where the buffering issue is coming from. Everything it says here is working okay, but I don't know. And that's why, and again, like I said, my phone is showing I'm like almost a minute behind. So, if there's an issue, I still have to wait a minute before I figure out what it is, literally. So the perfect ski ride, and we're talking about cars. I found the one I would love to have, and I'm going to tell you, and again, most people coming out, and you say, oh, ski media outlet, Ski Rex Media is going to talk about cars. It's going to be all Subarus, and Subarus are great. And I used to believe that the Subaru was the ski bum, car of choice. I know so many people who owned a Subaru. Great cars. Love the station wagons. Absolutely. I love a station wagon. I miss my station wagon. It was a Hyundai, not a Subaru, but I do love station wagons. Would love to have one of those Dodge Magnums. Would love to have a giant old, country Squire, the old Fords with the wood paneling down the side. Awesome. Would love to have a Nomad, would be great. But I saw this, and I put it up again. And if you go to Ski Rex Media, and I didn't prepare enough, I should have thought of this beforehand. I should have gotten the pictures to throw up on the stream. But if you look this up, if you go to Ski Rex Media, you can find this, is the Alpine A110 Sports X. It's their A110 that they beefed up to be a ski rig, and it's literally a ski rig. It comes built in with a two-pair ski rack that it's on the back. It's friggin' awesome. The Alpine A110 Sports X. Look that up real quick. I know that it might be a little difficult because sometimes your phone, if you're watching YouTube, if you're watching this on a handheld device, it might blank you out while you go to Google real quick. But Alpine A110 Sports X, beautiful, awesome car. What's up, Rob? You made it after all. They used to park Subarus on top of ski resorts in the 90s when they sponsored the U.S. ski team. Yeah, they did, and it's a funny thing that they don't do that anymore. I know Subaru's still their sponsor, aren't they, or did that stop? And I've had people ask me how weird that is, that a Japanese automaker sponsors the U.S. ski team. I mean, who else is going to do it? GM? What do they make anymore? A couple trucks? Chrysler, what do they make? No, they still make the Jeep. That would be a good one. Jeep's a good one. What's up, Rob? I guess you made it after all. Are you watching from work? Is that what you're doing here? Are you kind of slacking off, or you just have us going in the background? What you got going on there, brah? But that Alpine, man, and you know the Alpine would be a good winter car. Like these cars are built for rally, just built for rally. There's Travis right on the Honey Wagons. So let me tell you a story about the Honey Wagon. The Honey Wagon dates back to a friend of ours who had a piece of shit Subaru wagon. What did he get that for? For like $50? He beat the hell out of this thing, and we called it the Honey Wagon. Not that it was picking up any honeys at all, but we beat the shit out of this thing. In fact, dude, that's something we have to do next time I'm down in southern Vermont. We have to go back. Remember where his mom lived in Dover? I think it's back in those woods. I remember he and Ryan took it out into the woods, cracked the friggin' frame. Like they split the frame. And I think they left it there. I wonder if it's still there. Like, I'm not exactly sure where it is, but there's not too many places they could have gone. So Subaru can take a beating, but it's not a tank. And it's totally still in the woods, dude. We should go find it. We're doing that. We're going to go see how well this Subaru, and if it is, I'm taking it. We'll get one of the guys with the trucks to drag that shit out of there. I'm taking it. I know the frame being cracked is nothing you can really repair, but I mean, I guess you could repair it. I don't know. I'd like to see if it's still there. Let's see, what do we got here? Rob, you're at work. Well, thank you for joining us at work. I hope we don't get you in trouble for being too loud or anything. Let's see. Subaru sponsors some ski resort that has a special Subaru parking lot. Copper Mountain, I think. I think they all have that. Don't they? At least for events. I didn't know like Copper had a whole parking lot all the time. But I know for like Subaru events, they set up a whole. The last Subaru event that was up here at Killington, they had a whole special lot for Killington drivers. That's right. You're the boss, Rob. I forgot about that. I knew that. Well, I hope that whoever's high, there's always someone higher. But Subarus are great cars. But like I said, we're not just going to talk about Subarus here because people love them and they are great. Travis has one. It's a good car. We know 100 people who have them, and they are great for the skiing and the snowboarding because they are all-wheel drive. And if you have a wagon, you could pack a shit ton of stuff in them. Like, that's for absolute sure. My car, not so much. My car is small. It doesn't have a lot of room. I've only ever gotten it stuck in the snow one time. And if I would have had snow tires on it or chains in my trunk, it wouldn't have happened, guaranteed. But it's low to the ground, too. Like, I got to be careful depending on, where I go anyway. Let me tell you something. My car right now is taking an absolute beating because the roads around here are shot the hell out. And that's just Vermont, baby. That's just par for the course. And I have stories about sinking vehicles. Believe me, I have sunk vehicles in the mud on dirt roads. I have sunk vehicles in the woods in New Jersey. But these are paved roads. And, my suspension was good in December. And now I'm going to have to get under there and do shocks, actually struts on my car. I'm going to have to maybe do a ball joint or two. I'm just going to be rebuilding the suspension. Worst case scenario, I'll have to rebuild it. I have to check it. I have to get under that car and check it out. I'm a little timid about getting under the car once. I almost had this car fall on my head once. And it was pretty scary. Even to this day, I think about it. It was pretty scary. And almost might even be a little, it really wasn't almost, like I was okay. But I think about if it would have been a couple minutes sooner, I could have been killed. So there you go on that. But we're not just talking Subaru. That was my point. Like I said, if you want to take a second, look up the Alpine A110 Sports X. Awesome car. That would be... Now, see, here's the thing. Alpine has its rally heritage. Now, I don't know a lot about rally racing. Like, I'm an auto racing fan that's very casual. Meaning, if I happen to catch a race on TV, if I'm flipping through and it looks cool, great. Or maybe highlights of something specific or, whatever it may be. Maybe watching those videos. Here's a trip. If you like cars and you like racing, there's videos on YouTube where the Nürburgring in Germany is just like open to other cars, like regular cars. And part of me thinks it's actually part of that is a highway that's used anyway. But like any car can go on it. You can go pay the money and just race around the track. And you see some crazy shit on that racetrack, like stuff that doesn't belong anywhere near a racetrack. It's amazing. But again, I don't know a lot about racing really, but well, video game racing I know a little bit about, but I'm not that great at that either. But I do know Alpine has the rally the rally history, the heritage. They build the rally machines, and the only person who really beats them is Subaru every time. I think. I don't know. Again, don't know a lot, but I do know they make a good machine. However, this A110 that's all fancied out specifically for skiing, and again, it's not a production model. It's a prototype. I don't know if they're going to put it into production. They raised it up a little bit, put a little bit more aggressive tires on it, different suspension, built it to go out in the snow. However, it is mid-engine and rear-wheel drive. And again, like we were saying before when I was talking about the Chevelle and Sherry's Camaro and Ryan's Mustang, is that those rear-wheel drive whips, man, you hit the gas too hard and it's a little slippery, you're just burning tires and spinning out all over the place. So I don't know how really effective this A110 could be if you got in a snow situation, but you know what? You'd look fancy as hell doing it. And that's almost more than enough for me to have one, except if they ever put it in production, it'd probably be like a $70,000 car, and Ski Rex Media really can't pick up a $70,000 car right now. I mean, it'd be awesome to have one. It'd be great to have, but especially because it's unique, but whatever. Any car can be a ski car. It's all about how you drive. How do you drive? How well can you drive? How many miles do you put on your car every year? Are you your own mechanic? Do you do your own work so you can customize your car so it can go through the snow? Not that you need to be a real mechanic to put chains on your tires, but it might come in handy. You can set your, if you have a customizable suspension, something you can raise, lower, do what you got to do, putting bigger tires on it. Lord knows, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I want to do. Part of me wants to do this with a Subaru, as a matter of fact, because I saw it done with a Subaru. I'm sure you've seen it too. What is this here? Ryan, I had a BMW 328 X-Drive that really kicked ass in the snow. All right, here's the thing. I've never been a big fan of BMW. Never been a really big fan of BMW. The motorbikes, yes. Specifically the ones Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman used in Long Way Round. And we'll talk about motorcycles as ski rigs here in a minute. But I respect BMW. BMW makes a great machine. That's just a fact. It's a well-made car. Some of them I don't like the design of. The one M3, I think it was from years and years ago, is kind of neat, but just not my thing. But they make a great car. So Ryan having one that said kicked ass in the snow, I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe that's only a step down from a tank, with the nice tracks, which is actually where I was going. But yeah, BMW will move. Their all-wheel drive system is awesome. Even with shitty ground clearance, it never gets stuck. Yeah, if you can build a sweet all-wheel drive system, again, it's BMW. I may not like them, but I can respect them, and that's a well-built automobile. I think, I would absolutely drive one, but I would never own one. But yeah, man, like you get a real good all-wheel drive system, you're never getting stuck. In a front-wheel drive vehicle, you can get about halfway there. Let's see, Lance's BMW can drive right up the snow-covered trails of Pennsylvania. I don't think Lance will ever come to Pennsylvania, dude. He is so on about the PNW. I don't think he would ever leave that area to even do it. I do like the fact that they will move in the snow, though. Yeah. See. Oh, that's where I was going with this. So the real thing is that we have these. BMW makes a great all-wheel drive system. Subaru obviously tried and tested. True. A few others that have, but I want to go with the tracks, the treads. Have you seen these systems? There's one. What's the company that makes it? I don't remember. There might be a couple of them. There's one in particular that you put the car up, you take the wheels off, you put on the four-wheel tracks, And they say it takes like an hour to put them on, so it can't be that hard. And you now have a tracked vehicle, and that's practically having a tank. Like, could you imagine? And they did it. One of their demo cars was a WRX, a Subaru. And to see this thing doing like 90 miles an hour through this, just down a snow trail. Like, it wasn't even a trail. It was like in the back of a farm or something. It's like big old wide open land. And they're just tearing ass like 90 miles an hour on treads. I mean, that is so great. What is this? The Jeep Wrangler? You do see? Yep, that's Ryan, that Wrangler you saw, that's a similar kit. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if it was the same manufacturer. I don't know how many manufacturers make these kits, but that's exactly what it was. Each wheel was replaced with some tracks, and you see these things just tearing around. There was actually a town or two over. Was it a Suburban, maybe? I can't remember the truck it was on, but it was something like a Suburban, like an Explorer, something of that nature. And I can't remember what it was, but they were selling it, and I was like, damn, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool to have. Wicked metal. I'm saying, dude. Like Jeep Wranglers with tracks. One year, was it Jeep? I can't remember. What was it? I think it might have been Jeep had one at Mount Snow, and they were tearing up the side of the mountain and running around out there for some event. I don't remember which event. I don't remember if they were selling something or what. Now I don't think Jeeps are allowed anywhere near that mountain. I think it's a BMW mountain now. So I don't think you'll ever see anybody else there. Although I will bring it up. I remember one year, what was the event? Was it mountain biking? It had to have been, because it was that time of year. Every company that came to this mountain bike event and set up a tent or a display of some kind, everybody had a Hummer. Everybody did. Everybody. Humvee. I mean, the Marine Corps was there with a Humvee, but that makes sense. But it was painted up for the recruitment spiel. But everybody had one. Now, that's a good car. If you could afford the gas for it. I get that it does shit for gas mileage, but I will say, man, it's pretty unstoppable. Like, you can run through there, and think about trying to put those tracks, putting the treads, like the would-be tank tracks, put that on a Humvee. That would be pretty banging. I think I would like to do it on a Subaru if I was looking for speed. If I was looking for speed, I would do it on the WRX or like an Audi. What's the sport Audi that's got the one turbo kit? Is it the A4, A5? I can't remember, but one of those is all-wheel drive. One that has like the 2-liter turbo engine. It's not a supercar, but you could get moving on these tracks if you wanted to. Whistler has a GMC full-size pickup that runs around with tank treads too, as part of their sponsorship. The TT is an all-wheel drive though. The Audi TT is only, I think it's a front-wheel drive actually. I like the Roadster, the TT Roadster, but one of them, A4 maybe, is all-wheel drive, and put the tracks on that. I mean, you definitely look good doing it. That's for damn sure. You would look great. S4 actually might have been the one I was thinking of. One of the Audis, at any rate. And you'd look good doing it. That's for damn sure, man. Hell yeah. So that would be great. Or if you put it on one of the high-end, who was it? Who had the photo of the new Tesla Cybertruck with those on it? You guys saw that. Who was passing that around? That might be cool. I think for as much as I love the Teslas, that truck is ugly as sin. And I like hideously ugly vehicles. Like, it is my goal in life to have an AMC Gremlin sitting in the garage, just completely restored and ready to rock. Hideously ugly automobile. That Urkel BMW, the one where the whole front opens up, it's 3 wheels. I would love to have one of those. But the Tesla Cybertruck is just Ski Bum Podcast. Yes, they had the Tesla truck picture with the tracks. Man, it's just too hideously ugly for me. I love the Aztec though, bro. Oh, I love that Aztec. too. I loved that Aztec back in the day. I loved the Aztec. That would be my ski car of choice. all-wheel drive, hideous, so nobody's going to try and steal it. But 2 tons of functionality, man. That thing had more pockets and gear storage and plenty of leg room and headroom, man. I loved the Pontiac Aztek. Not easy to find now either, man. Like people bought them, regretted it, and then just drove them into rivers or something. I think I haven't seen one in years, and I would love to find one. That would be a great ski vehicle right there. Absolutely, I would totally rock that every season. Would not care. It would be amazing. I'd put my skis right on top. Pardon me, gotta adjust my hat here, adjusting myself on camera. I would put my skis right on top of that. I put my skis, your board, bunch of shit in the trunk, and fucking head down the big snow American Dream down there in Jersey for some indoor stuff. Let's see here. The Citron Pyramid concept from the 80s. Really? Let's look that up right now. I'm looking that up right now. I wish I could put it on. I haven't really figured out how to, on the fly, get something onto the stream. I would love to be able to do that, but I can't. Oops. Don't know how to spell pyramid. What is this thing? Oh my God. It's very close. Holy smokes, is this close? Look at this thing. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. That's the best I can do. That's it. If you haven't looked it up yourself, there it is. I think that's actually kind of sick. I kind of like it. I really do. I would have this thing in my house, at my house. Look at the headlights, dude. This is terrible. You know what, though? Citroen makes a good car. I would have a Citroen. Some of the other Citroens, some of the older Citroens would be great. Let's see here. My former company did lift kits on Subarus. Here you go. This one from our friend G-Move, who was on the program once. He's got it. And again, I don't know how to get the Twitter feed back onto the screen either. That app closed down. They closed up shop and they are gone now. So I have to find another way to do it. And I know you can't see it now, but I lifted it up a little bit. Maybe you can see it. That's him. Go to the Twitter, Skirex Media, at Skirex Media on Twitter, at Skirex Media, or / whatever it is, Skirex Media on Facebook, and also Skirex Media on Instagram. Over here, if you see this down here on the bottom here, that's all the social media, and then this is the money side over here if you wish to support the show. For those who don't know, even though you're all the hardcore, so you should know. And but if there is anybody new who snuck in last week, we had our new friend from Austria sneak in. He's probably sleeping tonight because if he has that newborn and he was able to fall asleep, he fell asleep, believe me. I don't have any youngins of my own, but I've heard many a story, so there you go. A lifted Subaru is great. Get you a little more ground clearance, put bigger tires on it. The problem is, I think with Subaru, well, there's no real problem with it, except I've seen people put bigger tires on it that the engine just can't drive and just rip the whole thing apart. It kind of sucks is what it does. And anytime a car has to die, it sucks. But that Citroen, that did look a little like the Tesla truck. I would love to have a Citroen myself. I think they're great. There was a place in New Jersey, one town over from where I lived, who dealt in them specifically, restoring the old ones. From like the 60s, I think. I don't know enough about Citroens to throw out names and model numbers and model names and so on, but I do know they're awesome, and I know one when I see one typically. I wouldn't have known that thing, though. That thing, I would make that thing a ski ride. I would make that thing my weekend ride, and I would drive through towns at like 2 miles an hour to make sure everyone saw it. Make sure everyone just turns their heads like, what the hell is that? Like, that's me and my whip. Pimp my ride, straight up. And I would put fucking Skirex Media stickers all over it so everybody knew goddamn well who was doing it, let me tell you. But the tracks would be good. Cybertruck's kind of hideous. Pickup truck's a good ski ride, again, if you're only doing 1 or 2 people. Or if you're doing 2 cars worth and you can throw all the gear in the pickup truck, 2 people in the truck, and then like 5 people in another car. Always good to have. And again, pickup truck, 4-wheel drive, get you out of a mess. if you need it, or it could help you pull someone else out of a mess. That's always a wonderful thing. I one time sunk my ex-wife's '03 Chevy Tracker into a mud hole and had to call a tow truck to come pull us out of the woods because I got overzealous. And no pickup truck went by at all. It was amazing. Before we got stuck, we saw a few people tooling around the woods because it was near like a reservoir. There was fishing and stuff. We saw a few pickup trucks go by, and then after I sunk my car, it just everybody disappeared. So we had to have a tow truck come get me out, pull me out of the hole, and then we saw more pickup trucks after the fact. So that was kind of awesome. $300 for that. And I drove myself out of the woods too. Like I didn't get towed all the way out. I was able to drive myself out. So there you go. But that car, not good for skiing so much. It did have a roof rack. That was nice. It did have 4-wheel drive that came in handy more than once. But it had no room. It was tight in that thing. It was a little itty bitty car, and it had no trunk space. And I think that's really what it comes down to. You know, we talk about good ski trip rides and ski cars and whatnot. And I think we consider how well it can get through the snow, how well it can get through the elements. And we don't take into account, although we should. I think we do. I just think I think that we come to the idea quicker of how well it can get through the snow, not what it can carry. And that's one of the wonderful things about having like that big SUVs or the crossovers. People love their crossovers. I really don't like the crossovers. I mean, there are some that I like, but I would never have one. But like, you know, the Subaru wagons are good for this. They carry a lot of shit, and they have the roof, rack. My car, that's the one thing I kick myself for all the time. I've always had to, with the car I had now, anytime I've taken it skiing, the skis have to go in the trunk with the seats down, the back seat down. It's a small hatchback. It's a Hyundai Elantra GT, a little hatchback. It's usually pretty good for everything I needed to do, except for the fact that I didn't have the dealer put the roof bars on. Can you believe that? What the hell was I thinking? I will say that car buying experience, as much as I love the car and I'm never getting rid of it, the dealer stunk out loud, man. What a bad experience. I hate car dealers. I don't like going to them now. Subaru Outback wagon is pretty much the definition of a crossover. It is. It became that. It was like, when they first, back in the day before the Outbacks, you wouldn't have thought that, but now it is. Even more so, I think the Forester it's still the Forester, right? That's even more of a crossover. I'm not a fan of the new one either. I don't really like the way it looks. I guess it's all right. I don't know. I don't really like it, but they got bigger. Have you noticed these things getting bigger? I think I saw a Ford Ranger the other day that was like the size of a F-250. I was like, that's not a Ranger. A Ranger's a little like entry level light duty pickup truck. And now, like, the F-150 is even bigger, and the 250 is even bigger, and the 350 is even bigger. And now they have, like, the what's that thing? The terminology crossover is stupid. It's a marketing thing. That's all it is. SUV is at least kind of accurate, but crossover is just marketing. It's not even good marketing. I've never gotten it. I just look at it and say station wagon or SUV, and people say, this is my crossover. It's not a crossover. It's just an SUV. You just got suckered into buying it. But, shit. Oh, man, I had something good to bring up, too. Oh, well, it'll come back to me. But, so the truck's getting bigger and bigger. And this kind of goes into the van builds. Have you ever seen the Earth Roamers? The Earth Roamer Company RVs? Some of you have had to see that. If you haven't seen that, look that up. earthroamer.com. They use the biggest, baddest Ford truck that's available. I worked as an engineer at Ford. Everything has creeped up in size over the last 20 years. It has, and it really has been creeping. Dude, Ryan, I'll tell you, because I really did see a Ranger, like, recently. I don't know if it's still made. I don't know what year the truck was. It was newer. I don't know if it was brand new, because I haven't shopped pickup trucks in a long time. But this truck, it said Ranger on it, but I swear to you, I could have pulled my little hatchback into its bed, and Ranger didn't used to be that. Ranger was the small one, the light truck, and then up through the 50s, the 150, 250, whatever. And I I don't know why they're getting bigger. I know that, not as a rule. I don't want to say as a rule, and I don't want to generalize, but for many years, Americans loved their cars to be huge. And then that went away at the 70s into 80s. And then they kind of got bigger again all of a sudden. And I get that they're more fuel efficient now. Like a truck of comparable size from the 60s and 70s as a 20 teens, and early 2000s, the new ones are obviously going to get better mileage for the same size vehicle with the same amount of power. At the same time, man, some of these trucks are just huge. And not to say that I don't like them. I think they're cool as shit, some of them. Some of them are big and awesome. What's that GMC? Goddamn. I remember when I lived in New Jersey. Let's see here. The new Ford Ranger is the same Ranger that we sold 15 years ago. The platform grew in size, so everyone thinks it's large now. The F-150 has grown every redesign too. They're just getting bigger. They're just getting bigger. But I don't know why, and that's my point. Except, I mean, I get it. Some people do need the big truck. I will never need the big truck. Doesn't matter if I'm skiing, biking, whatever. I just got my bike back out and I'm starting to fix it. Not that I'm gonna go mountain. It's not a mountain bike. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. That was when I was young, and I wasn't even that good at it. I like to think I was good at it for a little while, but I really wasn't that good at it. But these things are just bigger and bigger and bigger. And the GMC I was trying to come up with the name of, I can't remember the name of this one GMC, but it's just awesome. It's half a damn tractor trailer is what it is. It feels like a small Freightliner is what it looks like or feels like to me. Actually, since we're also talking about van builds, and I'll come back to the Earth Roamer in a minute, we wanted to talk about van builds because I have talked about them on the website, and Alyssa brought this up. It's funny, this was her topic, and she's not here. Huh, ain't that something? Shout out to her. I'll shout out to her later. I'm just picking. She's fine. Let's see here. So I was walking in my neighborhood. And again, all right, so van builds. This is where the van builds component came from. They're really cool to build your own mini, mobile home, where you either live in it permanently and just stay on the road temporarily as an RV, whatever it may be. You can build it into a tiny home. You can build it as a, just as your ski ride, set it up. We've seen them. People just keep and drive and chase storms, and ride powder everywhere they find it. One of the people I've brought up, pro snowboarder Janice Spiteri, she just put a sun deck on her van, and Janice Spiteri is becoming very popular with us. I think Ski Rex Media fans love her. I adore her. I think her van is cool. I think she's cool. I think she's really cute, just saying. And but so we start to talk about van builds, and I would love to have one. And I I found down the road here, one of the local trucking companies is selling an old Freightliner with a sleeper type cab on it. So that's already halfway done, in my opinion. You don't really have to do much. What I would do is build on the back over the gooseneck type hitch. They got that big hitch so they can carry it. For as many years as I worked in retail and logistics, you think I would know what every single part of that truck is called? I've been on them, been around them, been in them, and I don't know jack shit about them. What I do know is that I would take that back end, build a utility bed on it. It would just be the biggest friggin' pickup truck you'd ever seen, and that would be my ski rig, and I would just drive around and just work out of it and drive around, and it'd be great. And with 100 whatever gallons of fuel in it, I could drive around Vermont like 4 times with the big old diesel. Plus, it's not carrying any weight. I'm not going to carry a 53-foot trailer. Like, I'm not even going to carry a 48-foot trailer, but I would like knowing that I had the option. Anyway, van builds are great. When we're talking about the giant Ford trucks, which we're still talking about, it looks like G wanted to sell his F-150. Some people love Ford, some people hate them. The Earth Roamer company, now they build these big expedition vehicles, but they're with style. Like, it's not just a big pickup truck with a beefed up suspension and a box on the back to sleep in. It's like fancy flooring, fancy walls, fancy, appliances. It's like a sweet condo on the back of your giant F1000 or whatever it's called. And I think it is called the F1000. Never saw one at a dealer anywhere. But here's this thing, Earth Roamer. Look that up. That's cool. Let's see here. I had to have the first car I bought after starting there towed the first morning because it wouldn't start. And there you go. Straight from the Ford horse's mouth. Things happen. My car does weird shit all the time. Earth Roamer is just a mile from my work. They start $250,000 for the entry level. They do. And that's cool that you're right down the road from them because you can see them every day. I definitely can't afford one. And they are expensive. I did see that when I first heard about them. This was a couple of years ago I first heard about them. I looked up their entry-level one. It was about $250,000, and I was like, oh, shit. But it's a pretty fucking nice truck, I'm not going to lie. Like, it is a sweet truck with a sweet, living space in it. I'm like, I could deal with that. I could absolutely ride in style in that thing. Damn near unstoppable. Just running people over. I can imagine, though, it wouldn't be a great truck to have for those who road rage. What's going on Twitter? What is this? Oh, never mind. They're not talking to us. The Earth Roamer, I don't think a truck that size would be good for those who have the road rage. Now, I'm not saying I have the road rage necessarily, but I've been known to have it happen once in a while. Because you could just start rolling over things like Bigfoot, man. It's half a monster truck. And if traffic is dead stopped and you're having a bad day and all you need to do is hear that one horn, and this is very similar to ski rage, and we've talked about that a few times. Yeah, you might just start running over other cars, just crushing them like Bigfoot. Not to say a monster truck, something. I mean, obviously that's not road legal, so that's not a ski vehicle. But man, talk about being able to do it. Talk about having a vehicle that you could just drive up the side of the mountain with. Could you imagine that? How great would that be? That could be actually really kind of awesome. Save you time, especially if you had someone to drive it who wasn't into skiing but just wanted to hang out. Have them drive the group up. Everybody jump out, take their runs. That's great. They'll come back down, meet you, and just go over and over again. What do we got here in the comments? I inquired about a sales marketing job with them. They kind of laughed and said we have a few-year waiting list. We don't have a sales and marketing budget. That's weird, but I bet you the truck sells itself anyway. I mean, you put that kind of thing out there, and what is this? Rob, got to run. See you on Twitter. Going to be out by you next week. Text you. Yes, true. Rob's heading out. Rob is venturing out on his family trip. The Earth Roamer HD is built off the F650, so I was close. Rob is going to head out west. He's going to do some coronavirus recon work. I mean, it's his vacation anyway, and that's great, and we hope he has a good time. Just be careful breathing the same air as other people. You never know what they're breathing anymore. I don't know. I haven't caught the coronavirus yet, so I'm good. I don't know. But Rob, you travel safe, and you be good tonight. Enjoy work. Let's see. Earth Roamer HD, built off an F650. Now, that's a big truck, just from the number alone. I mean, if you've ever seen an F-150, and then even if you've never seen a 650, but you've seen a 150, it's like, God, the number's gone up. That's got to be a big friggin' truck. So that's pretty cool. And I would love to have one. I would love to do my own van build, though. Like, that's cool because the Earth Roamer would be great, and they will customize as far, when I was reading their stuff on their website, their literature, I guess you could call it, you could, get as much of it customized as you wanted. Like, you tell them what you want for the flooring. You tell them, I mean, obviously they have their options, I'm sure, and then you have to pick from them. But I'm sure if you throw a little extra cash on them, they'll do something for you. Actually, who's a company that does custom work? It's, what do they call? Shoot. I think they're Boyce. They're in Ogden, Utah, at any rate. And they restore and rebuild and will customize the big, the M35, the 6-wheeled troop carriers. They'll customize that rig. You call them up, you tell them you want one, and they'll tell you what they can do, but they're more than willing to entertain what you want. And I would love to call them up and be like, this is exactly what I want. I want that 6-wheel drive sucker to be ready for the snow. And I want it to have this kind of bed and a decent radio. And that's fine. And go. Actually, that truck is damn near unstoppable. I think it's M35. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. I've looked up enough tonight. I don't need to look up anymore. But I think it's M35, the 6-wheel troop carrier. I forget who makes it. And I know there's other models that have come and gone over the years. I forget what the military uses now. They might still use a few of them. But anyway, these suckers are big. They have 6 wheels, all diesel. I one time saw a guy on a video. There was about a big meet, a big old 6-wheel truck meet. And they're hanging out, and the guy says he'll use motor oil in it, and it'll drive on it. It'll drive like shit, but it'll go. Like, that's a true engine. That's a real truck. That's a man's truck. That's an anybody's truck. Screw just being men's. Like, that's a truck you could run through a brick wall and keep going. That's a truck you could pull a house down with. You could save yourself money on the demo of your house by just hooking up 2 chains and ripping it down with one of these things. And it would be a great ski trip vehicle because you could build it out to have plenty of storage space, throw all the gear in it, and go, and you wouldn't be stopped. And if your friends got stopped, you just hook up a chain and yank them back out. And in fact, if it gets too much of a pain, you rent a trailer, throw everybody on a trailer, and pull it with that truck. That truck is amazing, and that would be great for a van build. And again, we were talking about bus and van builds because of Janice Spiteri building her van out. She has one of the smaller Nissans. It's in that class with the Transit Connect and the little Mercedes one, I can't remember the name of that one, and the Dodge Ram Pro City or whatever it's called, the little vans, and hers is a little van. They're very cool. I would love to have the Dodge version and build that out. I would love to do a small school. I would love to do a full-size school bus. And the wonderful thing about those is that it's so custom. It is so custom. You can absolutely do whatever you want. If you're building your own rig, you can do whatever you want. Yes, I'm taking my goggles off and spin my hat around because it's hot and I'm sweating and it's gross. What do we got here? Gee, Winnebago Revels are our hottest sellers. The RV industry is insane right now. Next to no inventory left in the country. You know, it's kind of funny you bring that up. It feels like I've seen it, people talking about that, how just like RVs are just huge right now. And I don't know why. It's just all of a sudden sparked. Everybody wanted one. Everybody wants one. And not like custom build your own. Like people like to do that too. Obviously doing the van and the bus builds. You know, I'm sure, you know, as it's become a trend, Mercedes has loved that the Sprinter van just sells like hotcakes too. Sprinter is also used by like Winnebago. I looked at one once. At an RV dealer down in New Jersey. We were just looking around and the guy was telling us, look at this one. It was a Class B built on the Sprinter, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, great van, you know, really well built. One of the only Mercedes I would ever drive personally. In fact, the last Mercedes I drove was a piece of shit. So I don't really think I would drive one ever again, except for one of those vans. But people love them. And I love the RVs all of a sudden. And I don't know if there's any, like, it's got to top out at some point. It really does. I would love to have one. And like I said, I would rather build my own out of like either a brand new small van or even a used van or do a bus because of how custom you could get it. And like you see them all the time. People build them fit for their sport or their lifestyle, whatever it may be. You know, I've seen mountain bikers who have, you know, they've designed their rig so they have a place to sleep, they have a place to work, and they have a place to park their bike so it doesn't get stolen off the back. Skiers, snowboarders do this all the time. It's built and designed to withstand the winter, number one, so it's insulated. They have like a mini, you know, whatever heat, solution they use, be it a small diesel heater or a small like wood pellet stove. You can get the small pellet stoves, the small wood stoves. You know, you can get a couple different heating options. Then you can put the solar on them. There was a kid on a Ski Rex Media. You can go look this article up if you want to. It's from a few weeks ago, actually. A young guy out west, he took just a regular old cargo trailer, just the kind of trailer you'd see landscapers use. He bought that and built it out for himself, and it has solar, and it's not even an RV trailer. It's a utility trailer, but it's an enclosed cargo trailer. I forget the company name, but he did a great job of it. Looks fantastic. Has the heater, a nice bed, workstation, whatever you need. And that's the way to go, man. I would love, like I said, I would love to go down and buy that Freightliner up the road I was talking about. That that used truck down here and build it into a giant pickup truck. Thought that might be kind of awesome. Excuse me, but they want $25,000. What is this? Because no one can leave the country, no one wants to sleep in hotel rooms, and they want to stay away from people. Plus, traveling salesperson who used to fly out on a Monday, return on Friday. All right, so there you go. There's some insight into that. It's very true. The corona right now, nobody wants to be near anybody, so that's a great way to stay away from people. Very good. So there's some insight into that, man. But even before now, they were still being huge. They were still going. They still have to service their territory, so they are self-encapsulating. It's actually a good idea if you're a salesperson on the road, a traveling salesperson. That's what I would do. I would do that anyway. I would live in this thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if I could. In fact, you never know. You might see the photos of it on SkiRex Media sometime of Tim just saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm buying my rig. I'm going tiny home. I bought a van. I'm moving in. It's just me and my computer and my clothes, and I'm good. And my skis and my bicycle during the spring and summer and fall. More like the summer and fall. And then just traveling. Want to do an indoor day at Big Snow? Drive on down. Would never sleep in the parking lot there, man. That's a part of New Jersey. It's not bad, but, I don't know if I trust sleeping in the parking lot of the Meadowlands at night, overnight, even though they do have security running around there. Then again, maybe it's not as bad as I think. I haven't really been there all that many times, but there you go. But then once I was done there, what if I wanted to check out Plastic Hill? Not a shameless plug. You don't have to worry about it. That could be shameless plug if you want. I love the shameless plug. You know that. I don't hide it. What do we got here? Transwest.com. See, there you go. Someone who knows what they're talking about. If you haven't noticed, I don't know a goddamn thing about what I'm talking about. I know enough, but I don't mind being wrong either. And I hope I'm entertaining. That's my big thing. Build something here. Drive down, do a day at Big Snow in the off season. Then go down to Virginia, do that Plastic Hill with everyone down there. It's only 12 hours from here, 11 hours, not bad. Then in the winter, just tour all over New England. If I get bored in New England, head down to Pennsylvania, get bored in Pennsylvania, start moving my way out west and just hitting mountains. And then that just brings you around. Here's the thing. You build a van or you buy an RV, whichever way you want it, or whatever vehicle that you may want to customize. Remember, it's not just about vans and customizing as your RV or home on the road, your tiny house. It's buses of different sizes, from the small little school buses to your average school bus that we're all used to riding. We all ridden in our day. Most of us, most likely. Anyway, everybody's ridden a school bus at some point, I would assume. Right up to the big Prevost coaches and the big MCI coaches, the old ones. And if you can get a Featherlight, what do they call it? Featherlight? Is that what they were back then? Or is that right? Shit, now I don't remember what I'm talking. I don't remember the name of it, but the old like antique buses that look friggin' awesome when they're restored, all Art Deco and shit. I don't think that's the right style. I don't think that's the right thing, but you'll figure out what I mean. And you could check that out. Those cool buses. That's not their name. Featherlight is something else. Featherlight is an RV manufacturer, isn't it? What am I thinking of? I'm looking that up. Now it's gonna bother me. But the point is you can absolutely build anything you want. I've seen people build little small tiny home type RV trucks to do whatever their sport is, mountain biking or, like I said, skiing or what have you, even like disc golf guys, out of like old fire trucks. It's whatever you want, and the sky is the limit. And I can't find this damn bus. Oh well, I mean, you all figure it out. If you're really interested, unless I can find it on this one here, because I can't. Shit. I'll figure it out another time. All right, I can't figure it out. But anyway, they were older, like transit bus, and just delivered a $1.8 million Prevost today. So there you go. Somebody bought a tour bus from G's company, the company he works for 1.8. So there you go. Build yourself a tour bus. And that's what I was getting at, trying to find this other bus manufacturer, antique old buses used back in the day, transit buses, stuff like Greyhound, but it wasn't Greyhound yet, probably. Actually, it might have been. I forget how long Greyhound's been around. But you know what I mean. Large buses that you can build into a tour bus as nice, especially if you got skills. Like if you know how to build something, if you know how to do cabinet work, if you know how to build and make things look cool as hell, if you're a fabricator of any kind, you can really get yourself a nice tour bus on the level of any band out there. And you know those guys have the nicest shit. And it really just comes down to what you want in it. Me, I would not do the bathroom in it. Some people would say that kind of sucks. I'm like, there's bathrooms everywhere, believe me. I find myself most often stopping at Love's travel stops, their travel centers and gas stations on the highway. Always clean bathrooms, always well stocked, always friendly people, always clean floors, always usually brand new. So I don't need the work, and I don't have to do the plumbing, and I don't have to do the fixture work. You know, I mean, I have friends who could help me out with that, sure, but it's still, I don't have to worry about putting fresh tanks and black tanks and gray tanks in it. I don't have to worry about any of that shit. If I'm building my own thing, I'll figure it out. I want more room for me, for the stuff I need to carry, enough room for me, and maybe, I don't know, skis and whatever else. Sorry, I got distracted. The rednecks are out getting crazy with their guns. They're getting squirrely tonight. It's a nice night out. I'm not surprised. Unless they're doing like construction overnight somewhere, but that's not what that sounded like. Then again, people have been running fireworks out here lately. I don't know what that's about. They're illegal in our state. So actually, technically by the law that bans fireworks in my state here, you actually aren't supposed to have single-use cigarette lighters either. So go fig on that one. So there you go. Build a van. I would do that, and I would definitely chase snow sometimes. I don't know if I really can or really would, especially since I'm trying to do Ski Rex Media. I can't. I need to do that. Pretty much every day, and I don't have to do it every day. I guess I don't know, but. Let's see here. We have a new division, Summit Vans, Adventure Focused. I'll be checking that one out later on. Always looking for ideas. Always looking to see what's out there. Looking for inspiration. Because that, talking about van builds, that's the way to go. Especially, here's what it can do. It can save, if you have it heated, and can sleep in it throughout the winter, man, that can take down your, obviously it's a higher initial investment. It's going to cost you money up front, and again, like with anything else, the more you can do yourself, the less it's going to cost. If you know how to work with some wood, it's going to cost you less than having a carpenter. If you know how to do a little bit of body work, it's going to cost you less than having a body guy doing it. If you know how to do your own brakes, that's going to cost you less. Lord knows when you get your car done by a mechanic, that's mostly labor charges. And, it's obviously you're paying them to do it, so they can charge you labor, but you could save a couple bucks by learning how to do a couple things on your own. And then it's just having tools and a place to do it, which in Vermont kind of sucks in the winter trying to do that stuff outside. If you don't have a garage, it kind of sucks. But anyway, the point is, you do the initial layout, the initial investment, and then you I'm sorry, the gunshots. It is gunshots. It's just distracting me. It's the rednecks are getting squirrely. Anyway, so yeah, the initial investment is large, but man, you driving this thing around, and you drive it, and if you could park it in a parking lot overnight at a ski mountain, some allow it, some don't. Depends on where you go. Always check first. Don't just do it, because you don't want to be up there and find out they have a night security guy who sees you up there, calls the cops. He comes and tells you got to go in the middle of the night. He may be awake because he's on the night shift, but you've just been out skiing all day and you just want to sleep, and that's just the way it is. What is this? Drinking too much maple syrup in Vermont. Totally. They got the sugar high. Maybe Ryan can brief us on the anticipated all-wheel drive transit. There's going to be a transit with all-wheel drive? They are trying to sneak some of that Mercedes money because the Sprinter's all-wheel drive, or you can get it all-wheel drive. Ford trying to snake some of that money. More power to them. I don't think anybody would take the Ford Transit over the Sprinter. I don't think they would. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, I'm not in it as much as I would like to be because I would love to build my own van or bus or large truck. Actually, I'll tell you this. I was looking at my little hatchback the other day. Well, I've been looking at it like this for about a year. And I realized if I take the back seat out and I pull anytime I could put, if I were to take the back seat out completely and level off the trunk and the back seat area, if I were to pull the passenger seat forward, I could sleep in that thing. I could absolutely make my little car a travel rig. Absolutely. And I kind of want to do it and I want to test it. Not this summer, obviously, because friggin', who knows what the travel rules are right now? I don't know what the travel rules are right now. I know Rob's going to Arizona. That's what I know. I'm not even sure how he's getting there. Flying, obviously. He's not going to drive that, I don't think. I don't know where you're allowed to fly in this country right now. I saw little planes out today. We have a small airport just across the river here in New Hampshire, and there was people's little private sport planes, like the single engine Cessnas and things like this. I don't know anything about planes, really. I can tell you a couple of the old fighter jets, what they are by looking at them, but that's only a couple of them. I can't do a lot of them. Let's see. I don't know. Transit was designed in Europe, not in the U.S. I didn't know that. Ford's worldwide, though, man. There's some Ford cars out there, things that are owned by Ford that I didn't even know were owned by Ford. Not all of them are owned by Ford anymore, actually. The Transit's cool and all, but if I was going to drop money on it, I'd probably go with the Mercedes personally. But then, I don't know. I would actually do the research. I wouldn't just go on what I know. I would actually go and learn more so I actually know what I'm talking about. And then just build it up, man. Build my ski rig, put the skis on top or inside, whatever it may be, and do it, excuse me. And then just do it, man. And the van builds are great. And like I said, this part was inspired by Janice Spiteri. Even though Alyssa came up with it, she's the one who brought it up because we were talking about it. And like I said, in her latest video about her van, she was building a sun deck on top, and it came out really nice. Interesting little thing, a little addition to the van. It's definitely neat. I kind of liked it. I don't know if I would do it personally, but it was kind of awesome. And it kind of just shows you what is possible, which is damn near anything. Anything to build one of these things, whether you're building a bus or a van, and then depending on the size, if you're building a little van, a full-size van, a small school bus, a big school bus, a big-ass Prevost, whatever it may be, an old MCI bus, I believe, was the old one of the other manufacturers, not the one I was thinking of. Flexible. That was the manufacturer I was thinking of. Flexible. Old antiques. Look great when they're restored. People build them into these fucking awesome RVs. Amazing motorhomes. But it was Flexible. And I remember that because there's no E. I think it's spelled Flexible. No E. Don't know why. But there you go. Now, anything you want is available. Anything you can build, your imagination is your only limit with all, especially if you can't do it, you can find someone who can build it for you. Like if you have cash to throw at it, someone can build it for you. Absolutely. Like that is a fact. So, anything you want, anything at all that you want, it can get done. And I would love to, as like I said, have myself a nice little ski rig. Or, again, this started out talking about cars, and cars are great. And again, car would be great around here in the Vermont because I have hill after hill after hill within spitting distance from here. I could be on an Epic Mountain on Monday, an Icon Mountain on Tuesday, an Indy Mountain on Wednesday, some other crazy ass pass on Thursday, a day ticket on Friday, and sleep Saturday and Sunday because why ski the weekends with everybody else? Why not just ski midweek when the places are empty? Actually, I'm not talking about that so much this week on the other podcast, but I am going to talk about what it might be like with the restrictions and the limited visitors this Wednesday. I think that's something we're going to talk about. I'm going to be trying to keep the whole thing positive. Try to keep everybody's positivity up. But here's the thing with the van build. This is a little secondary expense, or a little bit of the situation with it. It comes down to, if you can travel and ski, say you build your van, and you treat it tiny house style. This is where you live. So you don't have an actual house, and you don't have the big mortgage. You're only paying for gas and oil changes, and then any work you need on the road. If you need your, depending on how new, old, well-kept your van might be or bus might be, if you need brakes, if you need, like I said, an oil change, transmission fluid, if it's that type, if it's whatever it may be, a battery, something simple, or even if it's hard, hard maintenance, or large, harder things to do, like, depending on your vehicle, sometimes changing the plugs is not an easy thing to do, so you're not spending as much, and you're doing this, and you're traveling, and you're on the road, and you're skiing all the time, and you're not just hitting mountains, you're doing little, like, you drive around, you see this cool little, like, open area in a set of woods, and just pull over. The thing is, you're gonna go to resorts at some point. We all do, and everybody will. But if you can travel, which pass do you get? Because now you can abuse them all. If you're a travel rider, forget it. Because that's what we talked about last week. It really the pass decision came down to which pass you can abuse the best or the most. And now if you're on the road in your cool van that's built for skiing, and it's nice and cozy, warm with its little pellet stove, and you have your way to cook, and then you can do all this. What's this? Plus you can deduct the interest as you can a mortgage. It's registered as a home, can finance it for 15 and 20 years. There you go. You can actually get over on your taxes on it a little bit too. And that money you could throw towards your pass, because you might need two. You might need Epic and Icon, because every day you might be somewhere else. You don't know. I'm going to build one. That's my goal. I'm going to build one. Maybe I'll live in it. Maybe I won't. It really depends on what I can get for room out of it. Because if I can build, a place to record the podcast, which obviously if you watched last week's, this past Wednesday's podcast, you saw that I did it completely outside, not near my house. Well, it was near my house, not far from here, but it wasn't in the backyard like I do the other ones. Let's see here. Same as a boat. If it's got a bathroom and kitchen, you can deduct a loan as a second home. I didn't know that, you guys, for either of those. I had no idea. No clue. Like, I knew about how you could do it with a mortgage, but I didn't know you could do it on your boat or RV loans. I had no idea. Oh my goodness. So yeah, man, I want to do it. Like, yeah, we could talk about cars and which cars are good for, skiing and ski trips and all this. And that could be simplified too. Your car should be one that you're comfortable driving in the snow, whether it be front wheel drive, all wheel drive, or rear wheel drive if you're good, and have enough room for you and your stuff, or you and your friend's stuff. Because a motorcycle could be a ski car. I've been looking it up, and I've seen some pretty clever ski racks built for motorcycles. I looked it up the other day. And people do ride them in the winter up to the mountain. You see these psychos, because man, that's gotta be a little sketchy riding two wheels in the wintertime. I mean, I guess on a nice day not, but if you're in snow, that's gonna be weird, man. But or at least a little sketchy. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, God, we've been talking here on Ski Rex Media. We've been talking about indoor, big snow. We talked about that, and we talk what is this? A Ferrari FF with a ski rack. Well, that's what we were saying, dude, before you got here. The high-end joints, the Alpine I know I'm plugging this car hard because I really want it. The Alpine A110 Sports X. Look that sucker up. That's a cool car, and I would love that, and I would look good. Nice mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, just looking fly as hell driving up to the ski mountain. Let's see. You can fat bike on a mountain bike in snow attraction. Have to be able to get fat tires with studs that work in the snow on a motorcycle. Absolutely, Ryan, and I think people do that. But I started thinking about it. I was like, winter isn't the only time we ski anymore. It just isn't. It's even here in the United States now. And again, I keep saying this, I know, but as soon as Big Snow American Dream opens back up, and they can actually see how successful it is, because it was open for what, 3 months before they shut it back down. It opened in December, closed in March, so that they don't know how successful this thing is going to be. But once they find out how successful, and it's successful everywhere else, like Ski Dubai just opened back up yesterday or the day before, so people love that. Sure, the UK indoor facilities would love to open up, and the people love them over there, so I'm sure we're gonna love them here, and you're gonna see them go up. I keep saying to people, I was like, mark my words, you will see an indoor ski facility in Las Vegas right around the same place as the new Raiders Stadium. I love Las Vegas, as you know, so I say, mark my word, it's going to happen. It's going to be an indoor joint, and what better place than Las Vegas for that? That'd be great. What a way to escape the heat. But motorcycling to these places, and Plastic Hill, we talked about that Snowflex place down in Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia. You're going to typically go, Big Snow is open year-round, but it will, obviously, you can go there in the spring, summer, fall, and a place in Lynchburg, obviously, the Plastic Hill, that Snowflex place, that's open off winter. So, motorcycles more than applies. And I've seen, like I said, some pretty creative builds to get your skis and snowboards on the back of a motorcycle. And me and my friends, my friend Travis included, who was in the chat here a little while ago, as you saw, we were all talking about that this past weekend, about a week ago, how great it would be to do motorcycle, get motorcycles and ride. And I have to learn how to do it. I kind of wanted to learn how to do it this summer, but I need a class because I've never ridden one before. And plus, if you take the class, it brings your insurance and everything down. So it's a wonderful thing. Like, I have plenty of friends who know how to ride them, and I can learn from them. And in the state of Vermont, once, as long as you have the motorcycle permit, you can just go. You don't have to take a class like you do with driver's ed. At least that's the way it was. That might not be true now, and I don't know how it is for each of your states, obviously. But I was going to do that this season or this summer. Ride the motorcycle, and then we'll all go out and we'll do the cross-country ride, and it'll be great. Maybe we'll go up to Sturgis. Why not? But we were talking about that, which then led me to thinking, wow, using a motorcycle to ski, that would be great. Because you would only need enough to hold your skis, poles, and boots, and depending on where you're going, whatever clothes. You're obviously, if you're traveling, you're gonna need your bag anyway with your clothes, but then you might need your winter gear if you go to Big Snow. What is this? I don't know if they're still around. Australia, I believe, but Unitrailer was a great addition to motorbikes. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. Unitrailer. Actually, wait, no, I know what that is. I've heard of that. Have I heard of that? I don't remember. Huh. I don't know. But anyway, the point stands. A great addition to a motorbike. I'm down for that. Whatever I can add to it and use as a trailer would be great. Or I did see a guy. I saw 2 different rigs. Actually, I saw 3. One person, he built it off his rear fender, so if the fender went this way, his skis were like this. So that was pretty slick. I saw one guy had them on the side. It was actually had it so it was one ski on each side, and it came up over the rear tire like that. And then I saw another one. It might not have been a motorcycle, though. It might have been just a regular bicycle that ran along the side. But I don't think you could do that with a real motorcycle. I think it's just too in the way. You have to, you need... there's more going on in a motorcycle than in a pedal bike, I think. I don't know. That would have been a pedal bike. I can't remember. I wouldn't build that on the highway. I would have the one standing up, or put it out both skis on one side and the boots on the other. It would be great. How cool would it be? I feel like, and this is so vain and vanity and narcissistic and disgusting, but how cool could one person look just tooling into that Snowflex place? Where, again, you don't need your jackets. And that's what I was saying. Big Snow, you're going to need your coat and your pants and all that good stuff, because it's real snow. It's cold in there. It's they keep it at 30 degrees or whatever it is. And so you're going to need your outdoor gear. Down at Snowflex, it's outside and it's summertime, so it's going to be 80 degrees. and maybe even 90 degrees. I don't know how hot it gets in Lynchburg, Virginia. But the point stands is that you could just ride up onto that place on a motorbike. You'll just look cool as hell with your skis off the back. Like, I think that would be cool. And I like to look cool sometimes. I mean, I'm not going to lie. My vanity is in high gear lately. It's ridiculous, but I think that would just be awesome to be able to roll up to a plastic hill and just, ride the motorbike up there. I think that would look great. Not call it Hell's Angels. Call it Snow's Angels. Like, there's a stupid joke for you. That's a dad joke if I've ever heard one. I can see it now. Actually, look for that in the coming days. I'm going to design the patch for the Snow's Angels Motorcycle Club, and it's going to be that's going to be the patch that's on the back of my jacket when I'm riding my motorcycle down to the plastic hill or down to Big Snow. I think that would be ridiculous. I think that would be awesome. Good bit too. I think it would be funny. So anyway, I have been talking for an hour and 20 minutes, and you have been talking. Boo. Don't boo that joke, dude. That joke was fucking awesome, and you loved it. Don't lie to me and say you didn't. You laughed. I don't even care if you laughed and you're high. If you're high, I'll still take the laugh. I don't even care. But I've been going for an hour and 20, so I think that's pretty good. I'm sweating my balls off underneath this light. I think my face is turning even more red. I'm almost out of water. And I think we covered a lot of ground. I think this is what we decided. If I'm going to recap what we covered, we decided, or at least I decided, and maybe you agree and maybe you don't, that any car could be, any vehicle could be, even motorcycles, could be your ski trip vehicle. Some are better for some things. It all depends on what you need. If you need a lot of cargo space, if you're skiing with your family, the crossovers and the big SUVs, absolutely. If you have 2-3 kids and you need all their gear and all their clothes and everyone's equipment, you would need a bigger car. If you are by yourself, like I am typically, or with one other person, my little hatchback is fine. And then it just extends to whatever you're comfortable driving in the snow. If you're more comfortable with the all-wheel drive, find yourself an all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive vehicle. If you're fine with the front wheel, ride it. If you're fine with the rear wheel, hit it, whatever. If you're fine with the motorcycle, do it. Again, I wouldn't suggest doing it in the cold because I think it would get sketchy if you hit a little ice or even a little snow. But I think even more importantly, you're going to freeze your ass off doing it. So I don't know if I would ski. Maybe back in my younger days when I was a little bit, better with the... when I was a little bit better with this, with the cold weather tolerance, that would be fine. Nowadays, I'm not as cold weather tolerant as I moved to a warm planet, Annie, and I came back, and now I just can't do it. A year and a half in Las Vegas, and I lost all my polar powers. So any car, motorbike, doesn't matter. As long as you can get it through the snow, it'll work. It just has to suit your lifestyle and your needs. As far as van builds go, your imagination is the limit. You style it for skiing, snowboarding, and mountain biking or disc golf, whatever you want to do. Or if you want your own tour bus, or if you want an earth roamer, or if you want to buy one from G-Move's company, whatever you want to do, it's all good. Anything you can use it. And if you can come up with something custom, that would be awesome too. And if you can get tracks on it, great. And if you can get 6 wheels on it, great. And that would be awesome. So with that, my friends and my diehard fans of Ski Rex Media, we're going to have to try and find a way. Me and Travis were talking about this last weekend. We're going to have to try and find a way to get more people into these live streams and watching the podcast and at the website. Make this thing grow even more. Make it explode and make it huge. And then you all can say you were the charter members and you were here at the beginning when I was a nobody. And even when it gets big, I'll still be a nobody, but I'll be a better known nobody. And that's what everybody wants in life, I think. So if you didn't interact with the chat and you are new here, if you stopped in here right at the end, if you look at this side over here, these are all the social media links. Follow all those. Over here is the money side. Buy a shirt. It's hot out. And the logo and the warning sign are also on other gear that's on the website. So check out the merch shop or check out the Patreon if you'd like. All the links are in the description. It is Saturday night. I hope you enjoyed hanging out for this hour and a half with me. I enjoyed hanging out with you and doing this. I am going to go open windows, turn on fans, and turn off this big-ass light and all this stuff. And G is, again, offering his assistance in the RV and van world. So give him a shout-out on that. His name is his Twitter handle as far as I remember. And he'll help you out, and he thought it was a rad show, so thank you for that, and I hope the rest of you enjoyed it as well. Have a good night, everybody. Tomorrow here on Ski Rex Media is the, as always, the top post day, the top post of the week, so that'll be going up throughout the day tomorrow, and then Monday is Monday, Tuesday is Tuesday, and Wednesday will be the next podcast, the recorded show, both audio and video versions, and so on and so forth. We are getting to a kind of routine here. So one day is the same as the next, and then the same as the one last week. All right. And then we'll see if we can do something for the live stream for live stream number 9 next Saturday at 8 o'clock as well. And I'll have to plug the hell out of that throughout the week. All right. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you all later. Again, all the contact links are in the description. So if you have something you want to say to Ski Rex Media, go ahead down there and check that out. And I will see you all on the next one, and then I'll see y'all out there this winter, or maybe on a motorcycle with skis during the summer or fall. Later, y'all. Thank you.